Hi all, I'm Gray, the TF2 Weapon Ideas guy, and I have decided to talk about the trifecta of balance now. These can be considered offense, defense, and speed, or mobility, whichever you like to call it. With these three all in order, you will have a probably pretty balanced game. It won't be very deep or interesting or fun, but it will be a game and it will be balanced, most likely. And I've decided to illustrate my point to talk about three weapons. One that is underpowered with this philosophy, one that is overpowered, and another that is pretty much balanced. First one is the Brass Beast. The Brass Beast, as you can see, it has a small damage bonus and a small damage resistance that doesn't really do much, as we discussed in my percentages video earlier. But it does spin up slower, that's a mobility issue. And another mobility issue, you can barely move when it's deployed. So it has major downsides on the speed side, but it is a little bit stronger on the offensive and defensive side. As you can see, it's probably not balanced. It's quite weak. That mobility is accentuated simply because Heavy already has very low speed, and he doesn't particularly want to sacrifice what little he has to get a small amount of defensive and offensive power. That's the Brass Beast in a nutshell. The other one is the Soda Popper. That's the overpowered one. See, it grants huge mobility with those 5 extra jumps once you get hyped, and it also does not subtract from anything else except possibly defense. But the reload speed fixes that, so it's not particularly weak on the defensive side either. It gives you that huge mobility bonus and actually does more DPS because it fires 50% faster. You can just blast 2 shots and they do exactly the same damage as 2 scattergun shots, while also retaining that huge mobility. So I'm going to call the Soda Popper overpowered because it focuses too much on 2 of those and doesn't have enough downsides. I would personally subtract its offensive power and lower the reload speed a little, but that's just me. And then the Liberty Launcher is the third one. I'd consider it balanced. It gives you a small bonus to speed or mobility with the 25% blast resistance on you, so you can rocket jump more, and that is an integral part of the soldier. It also has an extra clip, an extra shotgun's clip, that is. And that allows you to play defensively very effectively because you have more to defend yourself with, more rockets. However, it possesses a fairly large damage penalty, so it's not all 3 at once. It's just one. Well, it's kind of 1 lacking and 2 benefiting, so that's what makes the Liberty Launcher more balanced than the others. So basically, the problem with the Brass Beast is that its bonuses aren't enough when applied to the character to really compensate for its downsides in the speed area. With the Soda Popper, it's that it isn't so much of a glass cannon weapon as it is all around good. I mean, it has its moments, certainly. It's definitely one of the most versatile and useful scatterguns. And then the Liberty Launcher. It possesses a well-balanced array of these facets. So if you look carefully, most of the weapons, assuming they don't have some kind of huge special ability or anything, and even those that do, like the Diamondback or the Man Melter, are all balanced around this trifecta. See, it's really centric to the entire balancing mechanic, because if you look at most of the classes, almost all of the classes have this in some form. Scout is fast and powerful, but he doesn't have a whole lot of defenses. Soldier has all 3 to some degree, but not as high as some others, and he must sacrifice if he wants mobility. Pyro is fairly mobile, but not really in terms of the great scheme. Has a high offensive power and a fairly decent defensive power. And then Demo has high offensive power and some defensive power, and so on and so forth. You can pretty much look at all the classes in this way. And I felt that I should reflect on this, simply because I feel like people are really stymied by some of the stuff I talk about, and I wanted to make sure they know what I'm talking about in the core sense of the issue. It's really not as complicated as you might think. It's just that you're weighing the upsides and downsides to each of the three centric stats when you're balancing a weapon. Things you can look forward to next time. I will probably be talking about some rebalances I think should happen. I have remained neutral on this channel so far, but I feel that it would be good to talk about some rebalances to existing weapons that deserve it, such as the Brass Beast, among other things. I appreciate your watching this video to the end. Thank you and goodbye.